Inspector, I've been waiting for this. Tell me, Inspector, who killed Halcyon Helen? I beg your pardon. You think I killed Halcyon Helen? There's nothing to prove. I don't understand. Are you trying to make a mockery of justice, or are you really this incompetent? I expect you to deliver the name of Helen's killer. I expect you to deliver results, Inspector. And if you can't withstand the pressure, then I expect you to resign. We're done. Your services are no longer necessary. I'm defensive, Inspector, because I'm under attack. I am assaulted by your perfidious and baseless accusations. You're convinced I murdered Halcyon Helen. Fine. Show me some evidence. If you have no proof, then you have no case, and I have no further use for you. Wait, don't move a muscle. Someone's just tripped my alarm. And my security defenses. And killed my patrols. The distillery is under attack. Someone's after me, Inspector. I need you over here right now. Forget what I said. I'm renewing your contract as of this moment. Damn it, someone's interfering with my transmission. Can you read the...
Whoever the real killer is, I got a feeling they're going after Mr. Ludovico. We need to catch up to him. Fast.
I guess, if we have to. Getting kinda tired of kicking my heels up in the penthouse all day.
Alright. I got nothing going on.
We should definitely go. As for helping him, maybe we take the wait-and-see approach?
Whoever is attacking the distillation station is offering us a challenge. I say we accept.
I had a feeling you'd catch up to me sooner or later, Inspector. I was just hoping you'd find me standing over the administrator's corpse.
What in law's name? Halcyon Helen, how are you still alive?
Oh, is that Ludovico I hear? Perfect. I'm so glad he's still in the building. Would you mind letting him know I'm about to blow his whole operation to flinders? Coming from anyone else, I might have scoffed. But you? I can believe you saw through my charade, Inspector. I've heard about you and your ship, Hawthorne. You're one of the few competent people left in this colony. That makes us two of a kind. She was much more to me than a body double. Halcyon Helen was never one person. I shared this role with my twin sister, Belinda.
A twin? The only thing worse than being an only child has gotta be having a perfect sibling. Can you imagine the parents?
Is your whole life predicated on being indistinguishable from the plot of one of your serials?
Belinda and I were the best kept secret in the business. Nobody could tell us apart. And certainly not a peevish, petty, miserable little worm like Quentin Ludovico. So when I discovered the truth, when I realized what Ludovico was about to unleash on this colony, Belinda paid the price.
Call me a murderer all you like, Inspector, but I'm no coward. I bloodied my hands to save this colony. I'd do it again. If it means defending Halcyon's future, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Tell the truth, Ludovico. There's nothing safe about Spectrum Brown. You want to infest this entire colony with those disgusting parasites.
They're not parasites. These creatures are symbiotic life forms. They belong to the highest order of life form, capable of living in perfect harmony with humanity. The symbiotes evoke a feeling of joy in their host, a bliss so pure, so profound as to render the most exquisite recreational substance obsolete. Oh, don't you see, Inspector? I want to bring joy back to Halcyon. I want this colony to smile again. Wait, hear me out. I'm not the only one with blood on my hands. I tried to defend Halcyon's future. But what about Helen? What about all the innocent people she's killed?
No one I crossed off was innocent. Have you met Dr. Blossom? She was practically a reptile. A cold-blooded psychopath who toyed with human lives in the name of scientific advancement. Leora Blossom wasn't a person. She was a weapon in Ludovico's arsenal. You call it murder? I call it disarming my enemy. The mascot was a spy working for Ludovico. He was ordered to keep an eye on Belinda and I, and report back to his master.
You're being paranoid. I barely knew the fellow.
Don't try to deny it. Anywhere Belinda and I went, that mascot was there, just watching us with those cold, dead eyes. He was a Rizzo's employee. He belonged to Ludovico's horrible little family of grinning idiots. Dr. Leora Blossom, Maria Keene, that flackwit of a mascot, they were standing between me and Ludovico, so I did what I had to do. I went through them. She was on Ludovico's side. When she realized I was alive, she refused to stay silent. I gave Maria a chance. I told her about Belinda. I asked for her help, but she turned me down. She was honor-bound to report me to Ludovico. Maria had a duty to her company, and I had a duty to Belinda. We both did what we had to, but in the end, I was the faster shot. You know what you need to do. Help me avenge Belinda. Help me put a stop to this.
Don't listen to her. Listen to me. Throw in with Helen and you destroy Halcyon's only chance at real happiness. Think of the future, Inspector. A lifetime of bliss and joy for every colonist in Halcyon. We can make that happen.
You want me to explain my grand plan in the middle of a climactic moment like some two-bit serial villain? Do I look like Spencer Woolrich to you? We've talked enough. You're either with me, or you're with the administrator. It's a deal.
Better than siding with Ludovico. Manipulating people's personalities through artificial, or in this case, horrifying means is unconscionable.
We don't have a lot of time. We need to get out of here.
Not so fast. I've sealed the bulkhead doors. You're staying right where you are. I'm sorry to do this to you, Inspector. Truly I am. If it's any consolation, Helen has brought some remarkably powerful explosives. Your death should be instantaneous. Goodbye, Inspector. Helen, we won't meet again.
Damn it. He sealed us in, but I think I know another way out. Follow me and stay close. We made it. Nice work, Inspector. We may have put a stop to Ludovico's operations, but he's still at large. He's probably gone into hiding, so we're going to root him out. This entire complex has been exposed to those parasites. Law only knows how many they've infected. Most of them won't even know they're carrying a parasite inside of them. If they're showing symptoms, it's probably already too late. Boundless energy, insufferable joy, an almost saccharine attitude of optimism. Then just like that, parasites bursting out of their bodies, fat and wriggling with vital energy. You're a step ahead of me, Inspector. Clearly a woman of many talents. An airborne pesticide of some kind. I think you may be onto something. Let's meet back at your penthouse. We'll ready our next move. See you soon, Inspector.
It's strange. When you walk through that door, I half expected to see Belinda. Belinda and I practically shared a life. Losing her feels like losing a limb. She's conspicuous by her absence. Thank you, but no. I can't grieve properly while Ludovico's still breathing. So let's see if we can't solve that problem first. We shut down Ludovico's distillation plant, but he's not gonna sit idly by. If he can't use Spectrum Brown to infect the colony, he'll resort to some kind of backup plan. I stole this formula from Dr. Blossom, a failed prototype of Spectrum Brown. Look at this. The prototype had the opposite effect, and actually made you immune to the parasites. This is Halcyon. Everyone's already miserable. A little more despair isn't gonna make a difference. We're going to need 2 ingredients. A sample of essence of Sprat, and 1 intact pod of parasite eggs. Sedric's warehouse in the Piraeus spaceport almost certainly carries a batch of Sprat essence. As for the pod, I'd check the Wilderness Reserve if I were you. You're a scientist and an inspector? You really are full of surprises. I borrowed a centrifuge from the research lab. Use the ingredients to synthesize an antiparasitic. I'm glad I could count on your expertise. Once you're finished, head to the pilot house. We'll hijack the control system and disperse the cure into the atmosphere. That should kill off most of the parasites. Are you worried I'm gonna shoot you in the back? You're right. You do deserve the spotlight. Here. You take good care of my Needler, and it'll take good care of you. There is one other thing. While you're at Piraeus Spaceport, have a word with Sedric Kincannon. I know Sedric. There's nothing he wants more than a chance to eliminate Ludovico. We could use him on our side. Best of luck, Inspector. I'm counting on you. Why, Inspector? Am I being questioned? All right, Hawthorne it is. Belinda and I shared the role of Helen, but she was also the only person who knew the real me. To the rest of the colony, I'm Halcyon Helen, but to my sister, I was just Ruth. I could be myself around Belinda, and she could be herself around me. She was my only sister, but she was also my only friend. Parents, naturally. An agent, a couple of directors. None of them had any reason to reveal the truth. To them, Helen was a brand. Revealing our secret meant damaging that brand. Damaging that brand meant losing money. Nobody in this colony wants to lose money. Belinda and I saw Helen as an act of theatric sleight of hand. We enjoyed the deception, the challenge. We wanted to see how far we could go. And if I hadn't underestimated Ludovico, you and I probably wouldn't be talking about Belinda in the past tense. We wouldn't be talking about her at all. It should have been me in that ballroom. Belinda died because I was careless. Never mind that. If you've got something else to ask me, now's the time. No. Belinda enjoyed the secrecy. She could slip into the role of Halcyon Helen, attend social events on my behalf, perform a few stunts, deliver a few lines. And then, when she grew tired of all the people and all the attention, all she had to do was slip out of the role and be my sister again. She was the secret twin. She had a comfortable life in the shadows, an easier life. I made sure of that. What I want is my sister back, but I'll settle for killing Ludovico. I'm glad I could satisfy your curiosity. It's a long story, Hawthorne. It was supposed to be just another marketing job. Rizzo's wanted Halcyon Helen to be the face of Spectrum Brown. Some hideous concoction served with a dead parasite. All we had to do was spend a few weeks on Eridanos, shake some hands, sign a few autographs, drink a bottle of Spectrum Brown in front of a camera, and try to smile. Belinda didn't want to go. But I wanted a change of scenery. In any case, we couldn't possibly say no. I'm an actress by trade. Pretending to enjoy Spectrum Brown was one of the hardest roles of my career. Belinda always hated endorsement deals. They felt cheap to her, inauthentic. She always believed her first priority was to our fans, and not the company that bought us out. Belinda and I arrived on Eridanos and played our usual game of trading places. We were practically flawless. Even Ludovico didn't know about us. Belinda was unhappy for the first few days, but then she met Bertie Holcomb. Bertie treated her like a human being and not just an Aetherwave icon. They were just about perfect. Bertie had a temper, and that worried me. But in the end, he was a decent enough fellow. Bertie wasn't the person I should have kept an eye on. It was Ludovico. I had a feeling Ludovico was hiding something. Belinda stayed busy socializing with the celebrities around the complex. That gave me some time to do a little digging. The Purpleberry Orchards was the heart of Ludovico's operations. I knew I'd find some answers in the R&D lab. I saw everything. The test subjects, the parasites. Spectrum Brown was never safe to drink. Those harmless, dead parasites at the bottom of every bottle. They were just dormant. They would have sold out in a month. This colony loves novelty. They'll eat up any new product we toss their way. A new cereal, a new Spectrum flavor. Ludovico knows that. From Emerald Vale to Byzantium, a parasite in every brain and a grin on every face. Every last one of us trapped behind a mask of joy. That's what Ludovico wants. I was careless. I was risking Belinda's life every step of the way, and I never even realized. I wish it were that easy. Still, thank you. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? Yes, Hawthorne, I did. Leora Blossom and Maria Keene were on Ludovico's side. They chose to stand between me and my sister's killer. I had to cross them off. Would you believe me if I said I gave the constable a chance? I spoke to her in her office. I told her everything. Belinda, Ludovico, the parasites, all of it. Maria said I was guilty of corporate sabotage, and that she had a duty to report me. She told me how sorry she was, and I told her the same thing. And then I shot her. Maria was defending my sister's killer. If someone murdered one of your crew in cold blood, what would you do? So you do understand. Was there anything else? Yes, this is mine. I'd kept notes on everything I suspected, everything I'd discovered. It's all here, all in code. Belinda and I... we had a secret way of communicating. Words and phrases that had a special meaning to us. Numbers and dates that were only important to the two of us. Only 2 people in the universe knew that language. That's kind of you. Thank you. You don't know how many times I relived this moment in my mind. I discovered what Ludovico was up to when I toured the orchards. I threatened to expose his plan. Ludovico decided to eliminate me. He programmed Burbage 3001 to fire on his command and disabled the security cameras in the ballroom. Only, he didn't know about Belinda. I'm sure he thought it was my skull he caved in with a bottle of Spectrum Brown. Burbage covered his blow with the plasma shot, and then Ludovico wiped his memory. I don't think he expected you to be so competent. In the end, hiring you may have been his undoing. I went after Leora Blossom, and you were just 1 step behind me. I programmed an automech to steal some explosives from Sedric, but you weren't far behind. You were always hot on my heels, 1 step behind and catching up. I realized I'd have to throw in with you or eliminate you. I like your confidence. Take that with you when you hunt down Ludovico.
Inspector, you made it. Well done. I'm afraid you may find the spaceport is, at the moment, less hospitable than usual. My apologies. Regardless, you must have some purpose here. Do tell. Whew, whatever it was, it happened quickly. Like a wave sweeping across the shore. We were overrun. Survivors are still trickling in. We've put out a call to slug agents not at the docks to keep their distance. With the warehouse's stores, Slug could hold out here for weeks, easily. Possibly months. Oh, my. You mean Lou was up to no good this whole time? It's an ambitious plan, I'll give him that. But tell me, why should I help you, Inspector? Always best to make sure a man has a better nature before you appeal to it. All right, but you're not to take this as confirmation I have one. Understood? You can expect Slug support. I'll arrange for my agents to meet you at the distillation station. I'll do that. I think one of our checkpoint guards is going through a divorce. As thrilled as I am to assist you in taking down Lou, we have barricaded ourselves in here for a reason. I imagine you have a plan for getting out of the spaceport safely? Are you really? Inspector, you are a marvel. Excellent work. I'll admit, I'm awfully fond of my agents. To see them restored will be a great weight off my soul. Thank you. Coincidentally enough, Slug can supply you with Essence of Sprat. Ella Tinsley, the warehouse foreman, you remember her? There's a package on the desk in her office. You'll find the Essence of Sprat you need in there. Oh, I wouldn't like to say. Customer-supplier confidentiality and all that. Now then, is there anything else I can do for you while you're here? With Helen? You don't say. You flatter me, but no, of course not. Knowing implies certainty. I merely suspected. This anti-parasitic, it would restore my people to their original, non-infected selves? Safely? Law, but you like your extremes, don't you? Well, I'll take my people's probable cure over their guaranteed death. Coincidentally enough, Slug can supply you with Essence of Sprat. Ella Tinsley. You're right. I don't. Now then, is there anything else I can do for you while you're here?
Wanna guess which gland Essence of Sprat comes from? Yeah, me neither.
Greeting protocols suspended. All non-essential protocols suspended. Phaeton is standing by for larval compound dispersal. Affirmative. Dispersing. Incoming message from Risso's distillation station.
What have you done? What in law's name have you done? You hijacked our atmosphere. Are you trying to kill us all? No. You're trying to kill my symbiotes. I'm not going to let you destroy everything I've built. I can still fix this. I can undo the damage you've done.
End of transmission.
Yes, I know you're hungry. Be patient. I'll feed you soon enough. Just a guest. The one I told you about. The inspector. Welcome. We were just talking about you. You and I are standing in the presence of royalty. Don't worry. You'll meet her soon enough. I know what you've done. Hijacked Phaeton. Contaminated the air we breathe with your poison. You think you've saved this colony? All you've done is robbed Halcyon of its last chance at real happiness. And you've angered my queen. I beg your pardon. Oh, you're worse than those people who talk in the middle of a picture. You really couldn't let me have my moment. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to feed you to the Queen, and then I'm going to find a way to repair the damage you've done. Don't be afraid. She can smell fear, and it makes her absolutely ravenous. Your Highness! Dinner is served. Wait, no, not me. Them! Merciful law! Stop!
Here they come! I smite you in the name of the law!
Got another fighting me.
You made it! I guess happy customers really are repeat customers. Here, I had something I wanted to give you. This is a golden ticket, good for one free tour of the Purpleberry Orchards. This is my way of showing you that I appreciate you just for being alive. Well, no, I suppose I appreciate you for all types of reasons. For example, despite your obvious talent for violence, you're not killing me. That's a reasonable point, friend, but it turns out you didn't need my help at all. I do regret the untimely demise of our broodmother, but my passenger is flooding my brain with all sorts of happy feelings, so I don't mind all that much. Oh, that's what I call the slug I've bonded with. It's gonna be a part of me until I pass through the gates of oblivion and my atoms scatter into the void. Sounds like what you need is a passenger of your own.
Have a fight on our hands. That's the last of them.
I must have dreamed up 100 different ways to kill Ludovico. I'll be honest, eaten alive by the queen of the brain slugs wasn't on that list. Is that so strange? I imagined this moment would be a little more cathartic. But Belinda's still gone, and I don't feel all that different. I can't go back to the way things were. I can't return to my old life because it was never my life to begin with. It was shared. Never mind, you don't need to listen to this. Thank you again for your help, Captain. I never would have made it this far without you.
Ludovico was eaten by a giant slug? What an absolute tragedy.
Welcome back, Captain. Or shall I call you Inspector? What can I do for you? During your absence, I passed the time by simulating a number of hypothetical conclusions to this case. Unfortunately, my understanding of the facts is limited, and my appraisal of the individuals involved is not flattering. Therefore, my conclusions are inaccurate. My simulations have yielded several possible causes of death. Halcyon Helen may have been killed by one or all of the following: asphyxiating on Rizzo's Spectrum Brown, grappling with a primal while inebriated, killed by an overzealous fan, death by automechanical, or profound loneliness. How close were my estimations? Please, do so. That seems impossible. Can you elaborate for me? Interesting. I did not account for the possibility of multiple identities in my simulations. This information is valuable to me. I will update my behavior simulation protocol accordingly. Thank you, Captain. How can I be of assistance?
The Rizzo's company in Halcyon dissolved after the collapse of the board. Needless to say, the launch of Spectrum Brown was indefinitely delayed. A stockpile of Spectrum Brown remains buried deep beneath the ruins of the old distillery, abandoned to time and attrition. With the dissolution of the board, Ruth Bellamy found herself without the two constants in her life: Byzantine culture and her sister Belinda. In the face of this new reality, she struggled to find a direction for her life. The colony had moved on from Halcyon Helen and would require new heroes in the years to come. And so Ruth Bellamy decided it was time to exit stage left. She quietly disappeared from public view. The dissolution of the board did not mean the dissolution of the ambitions of Sedric Kincannon, the charismatic leader of Sublight Underground. Sedric offered slugs transportation services to the newly thawed colonists and set to work ferrying resources and food wherever they were most needed. For better or worse, slug headgear became fashionable in the following years. As the board began to disintegrate, Spencer Woolrich found himself at a crossroads. Cling to what little stardom remained to him, or help usher Halcyon into its new future. To the surprise of many, perhaps himself most of all, Spencer chose the latter option. Having learned a variety of different skills in the many different roles played throughout his lengthy career, Spencer founded a radio serial dedicated to staying alive despite the odds. His subjects included how to survive violent encounters with only grazing wounds, dispense pithy one-liners for tense scenarios, and, of course, how to look good doing both. After a brief attempt at dating Helen as one person rather than two, which both Bertie and Helen found too strange, Bertie struck out on his own to try his hand at raising woolly cows. Many of his former Rangers teammates soon followed, accompanied by the woolly cow the team had originally plied with alcohol. The dairy farm thrived under Bertie's leadership and care. The Dairy Rangers privately believed that the woolly cows softened Bertie's temper considerably, although the only one brave enough to say this to his face was promptly headbutted. Due to the board's dissolution, many of the Prophet's old customers no longer found quite the same value in productivity seminars that they once had. With her business drying up, the Prophet chose to take her followers down a new path. Months later, salvagers on Eridanos found clues leading them to a seemingly abandoned bunker out in the wilderness. Inside, they discovered horribly mangled corpses, sacrificed to a blood-scrawled portrait of a sprat-headed deity. The Prophet was not among the bodies.
I hope you know what you're doing, Captain.
Really? You're going to choose that coward over me? I misjudged you, Inspector. I won't make that mistake twice.
I've found out where Helen's storing her explosives. You need to find the detonator and defuse it. I'll guide you there. Follow the unsealed doors. Forget about Helen.
Hardline discrepancy detected nearby. This device has a blinking light for decorative purposes. It was intended to improve worker morale by making common objects around the facility more interesting to look at. No explosives detected. This fuel canister is hazardous and may easily detonate with the assistance of an explosive. No explosives detected. This device seems to have several explosives packed inside, along with a remote detonator. Multiple explosives detected. The discrepancy amplifier has not been programmed for bomb disposal. Best of luck, Inspector. Explosive successfully disarmed. Now loading applause protocol. Amazing! Bravo! Our hero. You deserve a promotion.
Well done, Inspector. You saved my facility and my life's work. You have my gratitude, and before long, the gratitude of the entire colony. Unfortunately, Halcyon Helen is still at large. We're going to have to do something about her. Neither of us like one another, Inspector. We've made our alliance out of compassion for the people of Halcyon. Remember that we act on their behalf. Helen's attack made me realize I'm too vulnerable. I've concentrated all my resources in one area. Naturally, that's where she attacked me. We're going to have to bond our symbiotes with everyone in Eridanos. Every person in this complex will become a home for these creatures. Helen will have nowhere to strike. You're a step ahead of me, Inspector. Airborne dispersal. That's precisely what I had in mind. I'd always intended to use the atmospheric control system to disperse the symbiotes. The plan is untested, but theoretically sound. Head back to the hotel. Contact me via terminal. We'll discuss our next move. Yes, Inspector, you will. What's that? No, why should I be worried? Yes, I know Helen is alive. She's a discrepancy in the plan. It will be corrected. Nature abhors a vacuum, and the universe abhors discrepancies. Helen will be dead soon, and everything will be as it should be. Inspector, I didn't realize the transmission was running. Are you ready to begin the next phase of our plan? I have a habit of externalizing my private thoughts. Don't worry about it. Not just anyone, my queen. There's no need to give me that look. You'll have an audience with her soon enough. I underestimated Helen, and it nearly cost me my station. I'm not making that same mistake twice. We need to strike back hard. Helen is still alive. She's still a threat. We need to outmaneuver her. We're going to bond every person in Eridanos with a symbiote. We're going to use Phaeton's system to suspend airborne larvae into the complex's atmospheric controls. Think you can handle that? Head to the pilot house. Use Phaeton's control terminal to release the larval compound into the atmosphere. And if you cross orbits with Halcyon Helen, make her regret it.
Greeting protocols suspended. All non-essential protocols suspended. Phaeton is standing by for larval compound dispersal. Unable to disperse the larval compound while the reactor is unstable. Warning. Reactor unstable. Phaeton cannot disperse compound until stability is restored.
I don't understand. For the life of me, I cannot understand why you sided with that monster. Ludovico is on the verge of turning this entire colony into a feeding ground for his parasites. And you threw in with him? Why? Don't worry, Inspector. You're going to find out soon enough. Do you have a family? A sister?
I see what you're trying to do, so I'm gonna give you a pass on calling me family.
That's, quite the touching sentiment, Captain.
If someone hurt your crew, you'd hunt them down. You'd make them suffer. Belinda was my sister. I loved her. And if anyone so much as laid a finger on her, I'd end them. I'm going to kill Ludovico. And if you stand in my way, I promise you, I'll go through you. We're through talking. Goodbye, Inspector. We won't meet again.
Make him regret it. Let's go.
I'm not getting through. I've had quite enough of you.
Greeting protocols. Phaeton. Affirmative. Dispersing. Incoming message from Rizzo's distillation station.
Inspector, well done. The larva should be entering the atmosphere at any moment. I've ordered the complex locked down in case anyone tries to escape. This is it, the turning point in the history of this colony, and it begins now. Come meet me in my distillery. You deserve a reward.
End of transmission.
Get it off! Get it off!
Yes, I know you're hungry. Be patient. I'll feed you soon enough. Just a guest. The one I told you about. The inspector. Welcome. We were just talking about you. Ah, my superior and I. You've done a beautiful thing for my queen. You've made a host out of every human being in this complex. You've given homes to her myriad spawn. Every human body has become a cocoon for our symbiotes. In time, they will transform into a happier, better version of themselves. Halcyon will transform. My queen is pleased beyond description. Her excitement has whetted her appetite. She's practically writhing with hunger. The queen of symbiotes, a creature of endless compassion and unfathomable intelligence. The next sovereign of Halcyon. I've decided to give you the honor of becoming a host to the Queen's own progeny. Your bonding will be the first of a new generation. Welcome to the Rizzo's family, Inspector. Please don't make this difficult. I promise, the experience is entirely painless. Your Highness, dinner is served. Wait, no, not me. Them! Merciful law, stop!
Make him roll.
Here they come.
You made it! I guess happy customers really are repeat customers. Here, I had something I wanted to give you. This is a golden ticket, good for one free tour of the Purpleberry Orchards. This is my way of showing you that I appreciate you just for being alive. These guys again!
Welcome back, Captain. Or shall I call you Inspector? What can I do for you? During your absence, I passed the time by simulating a number of hypothetical conclusions to this case. Unfortunately, my understanding of the facts is limited, and my appraisal of the individuals involved is not flattering. Therefore, my conclusions are inaccurate. Yes, Captain. Thank you for satisfying my curiosity subroutines. Administrator Ludivico killed Halcyon Helen? I have been programmed to simulate contempt and mild surprise. Mr. Ludivico had the audacity to hire you to solve a murder he committed? I am contemptuous and mildly surprised. This information is valuable to me. I will update my behavior simulation protocol accordingly. Thank you, Captain. I have been programmed to trust your judgment implicitly. If you released an infection of parasites across Eridanos, I am certain you must have had a rational cause to do so. How can I be of assistance? See you soon, Captain.
The Rizzo's company in Halcyon dissolved after the collapse of the board. The Eridanos atmospheric complex developed a notorious reputation as a derelict settlement populated by grinning killers. These stories kept the infection safely contained until a group of salvagers braved the complex and stole 20 crates of Spectrum Brown. Inside these crates, long-dormant parasites began to stir. In the absence of board regulation, Spectrum Brown made its way across the colony by passing hands between the desperate, the apathetic, and the lonely. A few settlements tried and failed to ban Spectrum Brown. The drink became a dangerous escape for anyone who dreamed of happier days. After Spectrum Brown's widespread distribution, Spencer Woolrich experienced a sudden upswing in his popularity. Viewers found his on-screen conduct to be more boisterous, energetic, and personable than ever before. The wide grin constantly beaming from his narrow face certainly helped fit his friendly image. When asked about his newfound on-screen charisma, Spencer had this to say: "Happy workers lead to happy customers. Happy customers are repeat customers." Bertie Holcomb adapted to his new role as a host for parasitic slugs surprisingly well. Perhaps because he wasn't using his brain for all that much in the first place. The slugs put a swift, if unorthodox, end to Bertie's fears of being valued solely for his tossball skills. Of all the infected in the colony, Bertie's wild, beaming smile would always be the most genuine. The prophet of profitability was not spared from the infection quickly overtaking Eridanos. Due to her newfound chronic delight, the prophet was no longer able to effectively advise her clients on productivity. Her disciples, similarly bliss-enwrapped, lost interest in the hot, cold walks and hourly purges. Despite all this, the prophet's spirits were hardly dampened. After all, she no longer had the capacity to worry about any of her business rivals.